Hey everyone, it's Kong again, and here's the dozenth issue of Langrisser Lookout. This is a bi-weekly series where I go over some noteworthy game news, and then follow it up with a brief update on my own account progress, and that's a nice milestone. That means I've been doing these for 6 months. So let's start with the Community News Roundup. This is one of those lookouts where we have another batch of leaked information from the Chinese servers about some upcoming content, so let's take a look at some of that. We're getting 2 new characters, and these, based on the schedule, these characters should be coming out on Global in February. And these 2 characters are even younger Jessica and Mariel from Langrisser Re Incarnation Tensei. That's the DS game. So this is our 3rd Jessica. When's TheLastGame gonna make a Kong-themed Jessica alt? Anyway, younger Jessica is kind of like young Jessica. Medium Jessica. You know, the last one. Her talent lets her build up stacks of int that also increase her skill range, so she doesn't switch in and out of turret mode, but she can gradually increase her range. She also gets faster skill cooldowns based on how many targets she hits, and she has a passive act again in her 3C and the classic teleport spell. Mariel is a weird unit with a variety of healing and attacking skills. Her 3C is a big single target attack that dispels buffs, pushes the target back, and gains additional beneficial effects if the attack is guarded, so you're basically punishing your opponent for guarding the attack. Sadly, her factions are just Legion of Glory and Langrisser Reincarnation. Legion of Glory is gradually getting better over the next few months though, so that faction alone isn't enough to sink her. It's more the problem that her only other faction still doesn't have another buffer yet. February's batch of new content also has new 3-cost skills for Betty, Iris, and Shelfaniel. Betty's passively prevents her from dying to an AoE 3 times per battle, and increases the number of enemies who get hit with her revenge punishment damage. So instead of just hitting the attacker, it also hits the attacker's allies who are nearby. There's also an active component that does 2 rings of AoE damage and prevents healing. Iris is basically getting a juiced up version of her Dolly skill, so she teleports herself and does large area healing and debuff removal, as well as giving her 3 additional turns of passive healing and debuff removal. So this is another entry in the kind of continuing theme of countering the debuff meta. And I think this will actually be a way of seeing Iris start to come back into PvP boxes. Continuing the theme of building on what the character already has, Shelfaniel's 3C is basically a juiced up Heaven's Sanction. It still increases crit rate, and it has the same range, and it's still effective against demons. On top of all that, any demons who are hit with it and somehow survive will be stunned for a turn. If you hit 3 units, it cools down a little faster, and if you kill someone with it, it cools down a little faster. So this suits Shelfaniel's theme of cycling AoEs. But on the other hand, equipping this means that you can't cycle 3 2-cost skills, so you would have to find a 1-coster that you like. We'll also be getting 2 new unique weapons for Elucia and Maya. Elucia gets a hammer that allows her to take all attacks for allies within 1 ring when she's in the water, so yes, that means she can tank magic now. It's still gonna scramble her eggs, but at least she'll be able to take the hit. Maya gets a sweet broom that changes her movement type to flying, allows her AoEs to clear up enemy terrain effects, and dispels a debuff from nearby allies when she ends her turn. So again, this is another entry in the anti-debuff meta. And just a final bit of what I think is very important PvE news. We've finally gotten confirmation that the Sakura Wars crossover appears to be rerunning in late February. So that means you'll have another chance to summon Sakura and Sumire. This is great news for people who missed them the first time around, or for newer players who missed the collaboration entirely, and it's also kind of good news going forward for the state of crossovers in general. So we do know that TheLastGame is continuing to negotiate these crossovers and keep them back in the mix, which is nice. This also means you'll be able to top off Iris up to 6-star with free shards from the accompanying event. And Iris is a great budget healer who can still be quite useful in PvP as well, depending on your team. On the PvP front, the Global Apex Arena Season 4 Championship Tournament just concluded last night, a mere hours ago actually, and the winner was TheLastGame, aka ErwinLiana, who defeated Roily in 3 rounds. So congratulations, Erwin. This means we have a new champion who will be commemorated with the new Listel Season 4 Apex skin, possibly coming to Global as soon as next week. Hopefully this lights a fire under Roily to come back stronger than ever and try to claim a record-breaking 3rd championship in Season 5. So everyone, enjoy your short break before the first full season of Ares, Reen, and Licorice begins. And for the people who are still building their way up to playing in Apex Arena, enjoy your season of building towards a Season 6 anti-debuff meta. Okay, that's it for the news, so let's move on to the Kong update for September 14th. So, as usual, we'll start with the summoning update, and this was actually a pretty good one. I totally skipped the Yulia and Maya banner, so we don't need to talk about that. Moving on to the Rainforce, Zerda, and Gizarov banner, I actually managed to get Gizarov in 30 summons. It actually looked like 10 summons, but I did have 20 carryover pity. So, that's nice to have, just because I really like Mythical Faction. I don't know if I'm going to build him and use him, but I like Mythical Faction in theory. I might as well stay in there. Because I went back into the banner, and did 100 more summons, going all the way to pity, trying to get some Zerida shards to help me top her off up to 6 star. But I did end up getting 2 off banners on my pity summon. So I got another copy of unused Akka to bring her up to 4 star, and I also got a copy of Leon to bring him up to, well, a little bit towards 6 star. I stopped sharding him back in the day because I found I could clear any PvE content with him still at 5 stars, so I shifted my focus to other characters. Partly anticipating just this kind of thing, to be honest. I do have a few characters who are waiting to be basically accidentally boosted to 6 stars via off-banner summons. So obviously, not counting the gear, which I summoned on the gear banner, I only had to pop 1 multi in, and I got the Scepter of Divinity, and I also got a off-banner, I guess, Balance Blade. So not counting the gear, I got a total of 3 SSR characters in 130 summons, bringing my lifetime SSR rate back up to 1.83%, which is still a little bit disappointing, but definitely better than it was. Thanks to farming the event materials, I didn't have a ton of stamina or burgers to use on other stuff like Anarchies, so there's not really much progress in the 5Gs. So let's just blitz through the stuff that I did do, and I might as well stay in here for this, because we can talk about my gates. The winner of the 6th Gates of Folly was Wheeler, again, in a blowout this time around. I guess when people see the numbers get higher, they're more inclined to finish him off. So, he's 5 stars now, and counting. The 7th Gates of Folly community poll is live now on my community page, and the poll is going to be active all day Monday until the in-game server reset, and at that point I'll start farming up whoever wins the vote, all the way up until the next issue of the Lookout in 2 weeks. So while I was doing that, I also worked a little bit on Reen, just enough to get him up to 4 stars and then park him. So he's pretty effective at 4 star because his main job is basically spamming debuffs, so I figured I'd focus on other characters who are less useful without help, and I can always come back to him when they catch up. And honestly, that's going to be it for the Kong update for this week, so thanks for watching, and as always, thanks for all your feedback and advice in the comments. Don't forget to leave a vote on that Gates of Folly community poll, and then stay tuned for the next episode of Should You Summon later this week. It's going to be a good one. And of course, I'll catch you in the next Langrisser Lookout.